Again, I guess we have to go over this science thing again. The difference between science and just about everything else, and what science can tell us. It's more than just an experiment, or I don't know. It's more than figuring out how to make Apple Jacks stay crispy in milk. Science can do all kinds of things. And it can talk about the truth. Science can give us facts, and then we can take those facts and, with our intelligence, construct logical pyramids or whatever out of them. We can build on what we know, and we can mess around with it to find out something new, to draw new conclusions. Using logic. I mean, there's these people, Matt will keep saying it, I guess, forever, that seem to want to separate, or not allow us to separate when we're doing intellectual stuff and when we're doing human experiential bullshit. It's like you can't eat and think at the same time or something. Somehow you can't separate something you're doing out of desire or some sort of feeling or compulsion, and something that's done with your imagination, with your intellect, with the knowledge base you have, and you think through permutations and possibilities. Our brain is sort of made to do the abstract thing, to fantasize. That's part of creation in terms of building on logic. You have to create to build on logic. You have to combine things, make a new recipe, and see if you can make, have a better product through that process. So it just seems so obvious to me. I mean, I just have a hard time arguing this point, because my brain I've always felt like I was two people. Not in some psychotic way, but just in the sense that there was always a better me, like the conscience thing, where you had the little selfish me, and then you had the wiser me who would place the truth next to that selfish me and just make sure the selfish me knew you're being an asshole, and I know it. I see you're being an asshole. And it was just my intelligence, my logic, having time to think through what I was doing and analyze it and draw a conclusion about what it added up to in terms of a judgment based on the values that have been defined by my personality over my lifetime. Now, that's a real complex way of putting it. But anyway, so, like I said, I just don't know I don't know what metaphor or analogy or what to use to say, to explain something that's just so apparent to me. There's times when I'm thinking logically and deliberately and honestly, and then there's times when I'm scheming, plain and simple, when there's something I want and I use my intelligence to tell me how I can get it. And those are different things. Anyway, this is basically a response video to some guy, I can't remember his name, who was arguing that math fails wasn't dumping on science. But he was, and so was this guy. He was basically saying science, or a method of scrutiny, a method that can be logically tested, has some horrible limitations, and that we have to make up the rest with bullshit theory, something other than science. There is nothing else. There's no other thing but logic, rationality, You know, there's nothing else. There's no other way to ascertain the truth, even if it's an elusive truth. You know, what happened before the Big Bang? Well, we can say some things with certainty. You know, practical certainty. You know, Mary Poppins didn't sing a song and then we had a Big Bang. Not likely. And we can say other things are likely, are probable, that everything about this universe that we can analyze or pick apart or dissect reasonably and effectively operates on cause and effect. There's no reason to presume that there isn't a mechanism of cause and effect that might still elude us at some earlier point in the evolution of the universe. But what does it matter anyway? I mean, I'll always keep arguing that we know enough. We know where we came from. We are merely the byproduct of a crude chemical process that created a reproducing thing, a cell that could reproduce itself. That's our origin. We don't have to go any further than that. And there's no evidence of intelligent design, or purpose, or deliberate, or intention, or any of that crap. It's just a consequence, it's just a capability of chemistry. And when it does this weird thing, this life thing, now there's new rules for how that matter will function. Because now it has new capabilities that the non-living matter doesn't have. It can become very complex in its arrangement. But any complexity it acquires will have the original purpose of consumption and reproduction. You just keep going over. I know I must be driving some of you crazy, but there's still argument out there. So obviously the argument needs to be made better, because there's people still saying no, and they're not saying no with any alternative explanation. They're just saying no, saying, but what about string theory or some other phantasmagorical, made-up story that will allow for some sort of gap. It'll leave an empty hole, a space that's until we fill it, till we explain it, that leaves open this possibility that somehow, in some bizarre way, intelligence contrived the whole universe, allowed organisms to basically rip each other to pieces for billions of years to create human animals that could, make Apple Jacks that could stay crunchy in milk. I mean, that's what we do. We go to the moon and we invent Tang. It's just a preposterous on its face. There's obviously nothing intelligent about this. It's like the average god, that 2,000-year-old god. They're psychotic gods. I mean, they're egomaniacal. They want you to kiss their feet. They're insane. Intelligence wouldn't do any of that stuff. They're not like Albert Einstein. They're like some kind of slave owner. I mean, they're pompous, egomaniacal, crazy personalities, not intelligent personalities. I mean, this isn't an argument I should have to make. It's just so obvious that there's nothing intelligent about setting loose in the universe reproducing machines. And the only grace the universe has is that we haven't learned to be indestructible. We haven't figured out how to make ourselves practically survivable out there, so at least the infection is limited to this planet. But there's lots of humans with the aspiration to go out and, dump their pollution, their spawn, their spore, throughout the universe, because they think they're accomplishing something. They're possessed by the delusion that, life, because it's animated and does funny things, is therefore better than non-life. That matter is somehow deprived if it isn't caught up in this perpetual chase game. I need, I want. You give me and you get it, and then you want more. It's a cycle that doesn't go anywhere. It's, whatever. You've heard it all before. And I hate doing these videos over